Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us for our weekend weather update for New Zealand and Australia and also some of the South Pacific Islands. Let's get into it. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a low pressure system moving through here, but it's about to split in half and create another area of low pressure. That will then reform on Monday and Tuesday, bringing another burst of severe weather across New Zealand. And then behind that, maybe a third low later on next week. And meanwhile, Australia mostly settled. So let's try and make sense of all of that. This map today is the wind map and it shows where the rain is, brought to us by Predict Wind. Thank you to them. You can see the colder southerly coming in for Australia, but on the New Zealand side, airflows from around the tropics are coming down. That's why it's been so mild for the last day or two around northern New Zealand, at least for this time of the year. Now the rain you can see in the pink and purple, a lot of rain across New Zealand at the moment. The whole country was wet on Friday morning with one exception, the Chatham Islands. You'll be getting some rain a bit later on as that system moves across, but it is going to split apart and that's going to make, as I say, a new area of low pressure out in the Tasman. Now we've also got this colder southerly, well that's also about to reach New Zealand, bringing in some snow for us as well. So let's take a look and see what is coming up rain and snow wise. Here is the next 7 days of rainfall, the departure from normal. In other words, how much rain is about to fall compared to what has historically fallen at this time of the year. And it's quite clear to see Australia, for the most part, is either leaning much drier than average or about average, which you see in sort of the whiter shading. Still a bit of rain here hugging the eastern side, but nothing like what you just saw. Now over in New Zealand, it's a very wet setup. The whole country pretty much seeing rain. It's either wetter than average or about average if you're down there in the south. Now snow is on the way. This is from lunchtime Friday to lunchtime Saturday. Most of the snow up in the mountains and ranges, and there's half a centimetre potentially falling on some of the tops here. Maybe a couple of isolated flurries might come lower down, and then this is from lunchtime Saturday to lunchtime Sunday. Lunchtime Saturday to lunchtime Sunday. This shows the snow a little bit more widespread, but perhaps not as heavy as it was earlier on, although still another 30 centimetres forecast there. Some lower level snow flurries possible above a couple of 100 metres. It won't be too significant, but you're in that chance of getting a few flurries just down here in the south. And as we go through Sunday, that colder air moves northwards for a time. Might be a little dusting of snow on the ranges in the very south, but it won't linger because there's a subtropical northerly returning by Monday. So let's get into the forecast. Here we are on Saturday. Talked about that low pressure zone that's over us splitting in half. Well, by lunchtime Saturday, there's one centre and there is the other centre. So it's split in half. Wintry southerly coming in here, and that's why the lower portion of the South Island will be colder. But the rest of the country, before that southerly comes in, will be much warmer with a windy westerly blowing through. And that cold airflow also carries on right up into New South Wales. As we go into Sunday, that low it splits apart. The first part of it disappears off here to the southeast behind me. The other part remains out here in the Tasman Sea, and it's going to reform. So as it reforms, high pressure south of us actually kind of slides up around it. So Sunday won't be very active. The colder air, though, will slide northwards. That's why we saw a few snow flurries, maybe in the ranges of the lower North Island. But at the same time, there's a northerly flow about to kick in. So look at next week, look at Monday. Quite a change, with airflows around Tonga and Fiji now drifting down over the North Island and parts of the South Island. Not all of the South Island though. It'll still be quite cold, maybe from about Christchurch southwards, because you've got a nor'easter coming from just out at sea, and that at this time of the year is never a warm wind flow. But you will be noticing the rain clouds returning as well as the winds. The low out here in the Tasman, not only is it getting bigger, but it's getting deeper. So that encourages more rain to come down. And as this high, which sort of was out around Australia and slid around like this to the other side, that's then going to block and slow down the movement of that rain. So when we get to Tuesday, you can see what I mean. This low is quite a deep area of low pressure, 989. You've got the rain, the heavy stuff here with the subtropical portion just to the east of that. So that's why we're seeing a lot of heavy rain. And remember, it's slow moving because of the high. So you'll be seeing those rainfall totals getting up into that rain warning criteria in a number of regions across Monday and this map here for Tuesday. And the nor'easters continue on in the lower South Island. They might warm up a tiny bit as you get into Tuesday. And by Wednesday though, that low is deepened in 972 now, dredging up another southerly. a few more wintry showers in the South Island, but to the north, westerlies, and in fact this airflow up here is still subtropical, just brushing the far north. And I leave you with the remnants of all this stuff out here. We've got kind of a few areas of low pressure. It's kind of messy. And unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until Monday to get the next part of that. This is not Netflix. You're not going to binge watch the next 2 weeks of weather, although that'd be kind of fun. But this is only up to Wednesday of next week, but we can see a new low forming in here, which could be 1 week from now coming through. Now, before I go, I would like to say a big thank you to Barry and to Cam on YouTube for your donations. Really, really appreciate them. Anyone can now donate on our YouTube page, and just want to let you know that any money that does come through to that is going straight into this studio so that we can upgrade our camera, upgrade the old microphone and the audio, and get our studio a little bit more professional. So thank you so much. Again, Barry and Cam, really appreciate it, and to all the others who have started to give us a bit of money on YouTube. We don't really like asking for it, but it's really appreciated, and thank you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.